What's up, guys? Today we will get the drive shaft in the FRS and start working on the exhaust. Don't mind the mess. A fire suppression line burst. Due to the cold, it froze and flooded all the offices, so all that stuff's out here now. If you saw in the last video, this drive shaft was made for this car. It's the right length, but it didn't go in because it had the wrong yoke on it. So they had a R154 yoke, but we have a W58 transmission. How or why they got that wrong, I have no idea, but it is what it is. We'll fix it. So we bought this car for $10,000 and it had the 1J already sitting in it. Had a bunch of different parts. We went obviously above and beyond with it. So we did the whole radium rail, ID 1050X injectors, the harness, and then we went with the R8 coils, and then the Gte 3582. It came with a full exhaust, but they bought the exhaust for an FRS stock, so it doesn't work. The downpipe kind of sticks out the bottom, is weird. It's set up for something else. I can make it work for our situation, which I'm happy with that downpipe. I like that, it looks good. But I can't run the exhaust until I get the drive shaft in, because the exhaust runs directly underneath the drive shaft. I want to make sure we've got full clearance, everything's good. We'll get it all mocked up, pull it back apart, and it'll also be good to have the drive shaft in it, the exhaust done. We're that much farther. We still have to find an intake. Not going with the stock intake. I thought we would, but the front snout just sticks down too far. It's very long, comes out to here and just looks ridiculous. It's gonna make the intercooler piping look weird. We did just get a bunch of parts for this. So we picked up this oil level sensor block off plate. I think that thing is sweet. And then Chase Bays oil filter relocation kit. We got it with dash 10 fittings because we've got this full kit here. We've got our new cooler that's going to go up front and all the lines that we need. So this is a Chinese kit that we bought. It came with its own relocation, but it's not as nice as the Chase Bays kit. So we wanted that. We want to know that that's right. A lot of these, when you get them, you can't torque them down. This one comes with a special bolt. You can get the right torque specs on it. All right, enough talking. Let's get to it. guys like me, you buy tons of tires and wheels from the junkyard and Facebook Market because they're extremely cheap. They come with lots of tread. Just to figure out when you get home, they've got a slow leak that has to be aired up every 2 days. Or is it that you just can't stop buying cheap cars because, well, cheap cars are awesome. You can fix them up and make a lot of money off them. But one thing cheap cars and junkyard tires have in common is they all have a slow leak. 80% of the tires I buy off Facebook Market, the wheels have a slow leak. If that's you, I'll tell you what, Gte has created a solution for us. They sent me this product, asked me to use it, and briefly speak on what I think about it. So I've used it for the last week. I used it the other day to recover this car. Both these tires were in the mud, flat as can be, and I had to drag it up on the trailer. And I'll tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised. So this is the unit right here. They send it to you. It's in an awesome bag. You can keep this in your trunk, keep it in your car. I keep it in my truck with all my straps and my rigging gear. This is the pump here. Look at this thing, streamlined as can be. It's got an LCD screen. That is your outlet. It's not some weak plastic outlet. You've got your cord over here for charging. This thing has a battery, guys. It holds a charge. You can see it's full. I have not even charged this yet. It came to me with this much battery. And you look through the settings here, you hit this, you can go kPa, kilogram squared, bar, PSI. That's what we're going to use. You hook this to your tire, it tells you what you have in it. You adjust it to what you want it inflated to. It does all the work for you. You don't have any cords or cables. This thing is absolutely amazing, and it's fast. We're going to put it on these tires and we're going to see how fast this thing actually will air them up. And the other side of the case, you've got all your cords. Now, like I said, I've used this for the last week. These come nice and wrapped up and tidy. I'm not that tidy. And what I'm most impressed with is the construction of this thing. You can see that's all metal construction. It's got the dual end. Basically, this thing, you just put this on there, one end on the tire, push play, and it does all the work for you. I've snapped it on. This thing's ready to do work. Let's start with our lowest tire. It says it has 0 PSI in it. I had this at 35 pounds the other day. We are definitely going to have to take this off the rim and figure out what's going on. So we've got it set up. We plugged our end in. We simply push play. There it goes. Have it, guys. There's one. All right, I've got it hooked up to the back tire. It shows we have 14 PSI in here. And keep in mind, I've already aired up this tire and that tire the other day. I've just aired that tire up again, and I'm going to air this tire up again. And we still have 2 bars on the battery. It should still be set at 35. Have it, guys. 35 pounds, both tires, one charge, 4 times. Thank you, Gte, for sending us this pump. I am grateful. It is a very nice tool, and I will use it for a long time to come. Gte even went above and beyond and gave us a 10% off coupon code. That'll be in the link in the description. Check this thing out. If this is something you need, if you recover cars or you have a slow leak and you just don't want to take your car down to have it fixed, this is the pump for you. It's completely affordable. It's very robust. I love the design of it. The battery, I mean, when are you ever going to air up 4 tires? I have yet to see how high this thing will go or how strong that pump is, but for me, 35, 40 pounds is more than enough. It does what I need it to, and I will keep this thing around. Thanks again, Yantu. Back to the video. All right, that was pretty painless. I think the fact that it was new and it's not all rusted on there, it went a lot easier than they usually go. You can see the difference in the R154. It's bigger. This has got 23 splines, and you can see I marked it. I had to count them, which the W58 has 21 splines. All right, we should be able to slide this in here. I've got the car jacked up. I think the e-brake is on. Yeah. Let's see now. Yep. They're crusty. She's been sitting for a while. It sat at my house in my garage for a couple months. So it's time to get this thing done. I'm ready to get it done. Let's get this shaft in.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy, and silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck, everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep, can't stop. Unplug, feeling overwhelmed, I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy, gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it, I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret and frenemies. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff.
The drive shaft's in, it clears, everything's rotating nicely. Now you can see my dilemma. That's where the downpipe comes down. So we're gonna have to cut it, and we're gonna have to run it in a way that it comes down and over into this channel and runs just below this, because we obviously can't run a 3-inch exhaust under here. We'll be scraping everywhere we go. I thought there would at least be a tunnel on this car for the exhaust, but apparently there's not. I don't know where it ran before, if it ran underneath this brace or whatever was there before. So we're gonna have to get ingenuitive. I wanna keep this thing as tight to the bottom of the car as possible, if not tucked up inside this tunnel. So that's this side. And then here's the back side. So it looks like exhaust runs right here. It's got a heat shield, so we'll be able to run right into that. So right through there, and then it looks like it goes right in here, down and under, and then up. As of right now, we're running a single muffler. This is the iconic muffler for the 1J and the 2JZ engine. Very heavy duty, very thick, and just sounds amazing. These things freaking sound awesome. But you look at the back of the car, and we've got one there and one there. Because we're coming out on this side of the differential, it would probably make sense to run it here. And obviously I want it coming up on an angle a little bit and to the side. Not a lot, but just, you know, enough. I wonder if we can buy a different splitter type deal with one exhaust hole. It is going to get a different splitter because we've got the Rocket Bunny wide body kit for this. And we've got the wing, all the sides, the front, canards, all that stuff. So we're gonna be doing something to the back. It's gonna have to be changed. Just try to imagine that running down the whole bottom of the car. I don't wanna be bottoming out everywhere. That is not ideal. So this is what I've got. I'm going to have to cut it somewhere in there at that bend and throw an angle on there. Get this thing at least shooting towards the back, then I can go from there. I don't really have a lot of stainless here that I can use. I don't want to have a stainless pipe running down to metal to stainless. You know, I don't want it to look like crap. So I've got this piece here. It's the right size. I just marked the down pipe. We're gonna cut it. We can at least slip this on there. We'll know what we need. We'll get this thing, you know, pre-built and replace it with stainless steel parts before we weld it. But this is going to at least show me what I need going back. Now it's looking more like a down pipe. So really need to check and see if this is even the right size. It is. Perfect. All right, get this bolted back in. See what we have to do next. So I've got it this far. It's coming down. It's going to curve over. I've got it to the point now where I need another 45. I can shoot into the center of that brace. And it's just straight all the way back and maybe another bend or two, but nothing big. So I've got to get more exhaust parts and just buy a few pre-bent pieces and cut and weld what we got. Shouldn't be too hard. I really want it to look nice, so I'm not going to go any further with this right now. I could piece and part it together with stuff in my bin, but I really don't want to do that with this car. I could piece and part it together with the stuff in my bin, but I really don't want to do that with this car. We'll work on something else. While we're waiting on exhaust parts, we can fit some of this stuff up. I want to make sure everything fits, do a kind of a mock-up, and then we'll do a final assembly once we know everything works. Check out the Valenti LED headlights though. They're sequential. These things are freaking awesome. Got the tail lights with it. $300 on Facebook Market. A guy was partying his out. So that's a steal. Those things are extremely expensive. All right, let's see how our chase base kit fits. You can kind of see this is before. This went on there and stuck way out here. That's ridiculous. And that's after. That looks way cleaner. Of course, we'll get a new oil filter, but I wanted to see everything works. It's gonna look good. Let's see how our lines work. Of course, with it being a universal kit, the lines are longer than I would like. I'd really like them to come this way and put my cooler over here. You know, the shorter the lines, the better. But with the way it is now, I can get them on the bottom of that sandwich plate, run them down, and then I'll run them underneath this pulley back here, coming over. We can trim up this plastic piece here so that the hoses can run through it. And they can come out here. I can tidy these up so they're not hanging. We can mount that right there in the front of the radiator. I think for now that doesn't look horrible. We get good oil cooling. And I can always have lines made up. I really do want to buy a kit for making these lines because I need -8 lines running from the end of my fuel rail. I've got a fuel pressure sensor going there. That's going to be -8, same braided lines running all the way back here. And then we've got this radium dual fuel pump hanger back here. So I'm gonna have to do away with this one. And then I've got their label down here. I've got return and pump out. So it'll be beneficial to me to be able to buy a roll of -8 hose, some 10, and a bunch of different sizes and fittings, and then we can just make our own. From what I understand, I've never looked into making these, but these are pretty easy to make. And there's a race car warehouse near me that sells this stuff by the roll. They sell these fittings, all that stuff, so we can always make up our own length lines. But this cooler, for being, we didn't buy the cheapest one, we didn't buy the most expensive one. It's a, you know, generic universal cooler. This thing feels thick, it feels heavy. It definitely feels like it's made of good material. The hoses I like, they don't feel cheap and chintzy. But no, that's not gonna look bad. So we're gonna have our radiator, we're gonna have our intercooler, and then we're gonna have that oil cooler out there somewhere. I don't know if I want to be able to see it or if I want it hidden. I just want to cool the oil. Make sure this thing is getting good, nice, clean, cool oil, and it should run forever. It's a Toyota. These things are amazing. This downpipe, I'm just gonna have to finagle with it. I am going to cut the flange off of this one, and whatever I put on there to get past that bend and I get to the straight, I'm gonna weld this on so that we can split the exhaust there, and the downpipe can come out in a separate piece than the exhaust. So this was a kit made for the FRS, and it mates up to this. So I'll be able to utilize those ends once I cut them off. We can make this exhaust split up, and it'll make more sense. Look how dirty this thing is just sitting in the shop. So we're making headway. I feel like I got a lot done. I've been waiting on that drive shaft for a long time, but we're gonna get it done. We're a lot closer than we were. This oil cooler, and oh, we've got this little block off plate. We gotta put that on. Pretty soon, we're not gonna have any more construction shirt hanging out of this engine. I've already forgotten what this costs. It's from Drift Motion. Look at this thing. Oh my goodness. Don't get better than that. Man, that looks so good. All right, we are that much closer. We need to get some exhaust pipes, different types of bends, this intake and the fuel lines, and I think we're ready to rock on this car. But with that, I'm out. You guys have a blessed day. If you want to see these cars run, might as well subscribe. Peace.